So the topic of the lecture for today is answering research questions using public data. So, I guess we'll just jump into it. I'm Dr. Magley from the Health Sciences Library at the CU Anschutz Medical Campus. All right, so we're going to talk about how to ask a good research question. We're going to talk about how to find data and get data to answer your research question. We're going to do some basic data analysis in JUMP. We're also going to go over how to share your analyses with other people, because that's a very important part about research. So what do you do when you don't know an answer to a question? Like, how do you find out the answer? Dr. Edwards? You collect information. So what do you do when you don't know the answer? Yep, Google. That's what most people do, and I am known to go to Google myself, so. Well, you're just less specific, I guess. So the question that I'm going to focus on today is what effects did marijuana legalization in Colorado have on crime rates? So if we just go to Google and type in crime, Denver, marijuana legalization, it comes up with a lot of information. But if you look at just the titles of these articles, marijuana study, his rise in Denver crime linked to pot. If you go down farther, there's just a question about it. And then down here you have another one that says new schools, less crime, Colorado sees benefits of legalization. So sometimes Google doesn't always give you clear answers, right? It lies. It can lie. Anyone can put anything on the internet. So when you're looking at websites like that, if you look at something like the Denver Post, it's probably more reputable than looking at someone's blog. Hopefully, we hope. All right. So we went to Google and we found out that when you type in these search terms, answers aren't always easy. If you want to know why there's discrepancies between these two articles, you can look at public data to make your own conclusions, because the Denver Police Department puts all of their statistics about crime out on the web. All right, so when you're forming a research question, you want to make it clear and focused, so you want to make sure that you're asking something specific. So instead of just saying, what effects did marijuana legalization have in Colorado, you want to specify what it had an effect on, and maybe even what area. So we're going to focus on crime today for what it's affecting, and Denver as the area that it's affecting. And we can even narrow in farther than that, depending on what data we get. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of feedback from the thing. All right. So, but in addition to that, you want it to be interesting to you. So something that you care about, maybe something in your neighborhood, would be good. And you also want it to be answerable. You can't ask something like, how does marijuana legalization affect what your cousin thinks about on Saturdays? Because you don't have data for what your cousin thinks about on Saturdays, so you have to make sure that it's something that you can get data for. And when you're relying on other people's data to answer a question, you could start out kind of broad and then see what's out there and then narrow in your question a little bit later. So an example of a broad question is, did the legalization of marijuana affect the crime rate in Denver? And I have a star by the effect because we can't actually determine cause and effect because it's observational data. We're just seeing what happened in Colorado. We didn't take half the state of Colorado and legalize marijuana in one half and keep it illegal in the other half and see what the outcome was. So it's easier to say effect, but I just wanted to emphasize that we're not actually talking about cause and effect here. Yeah. All right, so after you have a research question, you want to define your ideal data. So what information do you need to answer that question? All right, so with the question that we're talking about, instances of crime might be a good thing to have. We also want to make sure that the data is collected in the geographical range that we're interested in, so Denver. And within Denver, how granular do you want to get? Do you want to be able to see data from individual neighborhoods? Do you want to see specific zip codes, or do you just want Denver as a whole? And that will determine what type of data sets are appropriate. And then time frame. So since we're concerned about legalization, and the amendment that allowed marijuana to be legal here came into effect in November 2012, we need data before that time and after that time. All right. So the next step is to find data. And instead of doing a search for this live, here's some data that we came from the Denver Post website. So if you want to just get an overall view of what it looks like, you can click on the crime map. Oops, where is it? Oh, it's down here. Yeah. So if you look at the map, the red here indicates that crime is up, gray indicates that crime is about average, and green indicates that crime is down. And this is comparing, I think the past month to the 12-month average. So at a glance on this map, do you think that, can you tell that marijuana legalization affected crime or not? We have one answer for yes. So what could be the problem? What is this being compared to? So since
We know that this increase is due to marijuana, I guess, is the
yeah,
question.
that's the question. Is this increase? How do we know that this increase is due to marijuana?
Is it taking, is it comparing it to the year before marijuana, or
So the question is it comparing to the year before marijuana legalization or not? And it's actually not. This map is comparing it to the past year. So we can't tell that answer from this question. And there is a way that you can go, oops. You can specify the dates that you want data in a map for, but it only lets you pull down data for 31 days. So I could put a time from to before marijuana and then after, and then look down for the different statistics. But that's going to take a lot of time to extract that data. So this is a good visual if you want to get sort of a general idea of crime in the Denver area, but it's not the best tool for answering our question.
is this the one where can you actually go into those neighborhoods and it'll show you exactly where the crime happens?
Yeah, so another great feature of this map is that I can click on Gateway Green Valley Ranch in neighborhood detail, and it shows you where all the different crimes occurred, and it tells you whether it's a violent crime, a property crime, or other crime. So those are other things that we can think about when we're analyzing the raw data later. Do we only want to look at violent crime? Do we only want to look at people stealing stuff or other crime, like traffic violations or car accidents, and things like that? Right,
Go
yeah.
in, well, actually, go ahead. You can go to the other one. Well, actually, yeah, maybe go in a little bit. See where all the crime is. You'll kind of see
In
where
here?
the. This is the past year, right?
This is the past month.
That's the past month.
Yep.
What does it look like? All the most of the crimes happening in your neighborhood, Jesse? Oh, right up the street. Round King Supers, huh? Totally, man. And it's funny when you expand that time point, because this is just this month, right?
Yeah, let me make sure that's true. Um, so it's from this date to this date. So yeah, about the last month.
Okay, can you put in put the 14 in the top?
But we can only pull up a month at a time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So up to 31 days here.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I love this map, but it doesn't do everything that we want it to do.
Actually, the Denver Park map will do that.
Oh, okay.
So we can see
Yeah.
that later.
We'll
But
have
yeah,
them play with that
it'll
later.
show like there'll be like big bubbles and stuff. I was gonna say like if Balboa was here, I'd be like, you probably live by one of those bubbles, don't you?
All
We
right.
can track you now.
So another thing that's publicly available is summary statistics. So if you don't want to see the geographic range, oh, that is not where I expected that to go. Let's try again.
Oh, there was Sterling. That was my hometown. There's a lot of crime in my hometown.
I'm just gonna grab it off my desktop. The link, I mean. Ugh. Sorry, guys.
No
I'm
problem.
having a little bit of an issue.
You're all good. You're still recording, right?
Yeah, we'll just cut this part out.
Yeah.
Or let all of
Do
YouTube
that
know
for
that I
the
don't know how to
transcription.
operate a computer. Alright, so the summary data is here. I'll replace that link on the slides before I make them public. So it
Yeah,
has
that's the one.
crime statistics and maps. So if you just want to see, let's say, citywide data for uniform crime reporting, it'll pull up a table where it says that the number of homicides is this. This is the percentage, and it gives you different time ranges, and it tells you how much it's gone up or down in this third column. And this is all very
Homicides 72%. That's
yeah.
for the whole city and county of Denver, right?
Yeah, this
That's a
is for the
huge increase.
yeah. I don't they I think that's what that one the first article that came up when we did the Google search was about, where it was asking if marijuana has anything to do with this.
Yeah,
So, but this is just for the whole city. So what if you just want to know about Green Valley Ranch?
that's where we're gonna be doing it.
Yeah, and we can go down into here. Where's Gateway? It has a table just for Green Valley Ranch. But what if you wanted to break it down by a different metric that isn't included here? What if you wanted to combine the statistics for Green Valley Ranch in a neighboring neighborhood and then compare it to somewhere else like Cherry Creek? Then you'd have to basically do your own analysis and go into the raw data. So there's a lot of information that's already prepared out in the web, but if they aren't answering the question that you're asking, that's when you have to go into the raw data. Come on, PowerPoint, you can do it.
Can you go back to the map real quick?
Yeah.
Check this out. So go to the map, the map app, the Denver Works place.
Where is it linked off of here?
Yeah, well, it's go to maybe. Uh,
I'll just Google it.
okay, yeah, it's on there. Crime Denver org.
There.
I think that's it, right? It should be. Yeah, try that one. Yeah, that's it. I think. Okay, yeah, and put Green Valley Ranch in there. Oh, you gotta put Gateway. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, put Gateway in front. What?
I'll just click on it.
Yeah, just grab it there. There it is. Filter by this neighborhood. Yep. So that's your neighborhood. Can you do it for the past, like maybe 2 years or something? So that's just this month.
So just change it to like 2013 or something.
Yeah, let's do that. Check this out. This is where all the crime happens in your neighborhood. Do you live in Green Valley or are you in Montbello?
I live in Montbello.
Okay.
Maximum of 500. It's been more than 500, so we know that. Here, let's try 14.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeez. Okay, maybe just go just go violent crime.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Green Valley Ranch, and then we'll also half the class will do Montbello.
Alright, I think I did it.
Yeah, check that out.
So this is all the violent crime in Green Valley Ranch over the past 2 years.
And then you can see the big bubbles, like right by like the yeah King Supers.
Is that where the King Supers is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Go over to. Can you go to? I think you just scroll over to Montbello too.
Which way is that?
Go left.
Okay.
So it's the one right next to it. That one. Yeah. Click on that. I think you. Or wait, is that Montbello?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Filter by that neighborhood.
So Montbello has a
Yeah.
hot
Where's that
spot right
20?
here.
What's that area?
That
Can
looks.
you go in? Can you go in? Can you zoom in?
Yeah, I can zoom in for sure.
This is so cool.
So it's right by Montbello Shopping Center.
Yeah, right near Carlos.
Yeah, there's a lot of this. But you can keep going down. You can find an actual like one of those dots could be one of those houses.
Yep, so there's a robbery. The address isn't given, but a lot of the other places will give address. So this aggravated assault occurred in this area.
So
So
JC, how could besides trying to answer questions about, you know, did legalizing marijuana have any effect? What else could you use this for? What do you think this would be useful for? This map right here.
Like maybe what kind of neighborhood you want to move into.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
exactly. There's actually a site that has all this data that's more geared toward real estate
Yeah.
that Dr. Edwards showed me.
Yeah, there's this is how rich white yuppies decide where they want to live.
All right. So now that we've looked at the geographical visual data and we've looked at kind of the summary statistics that are out there, now we're going to start trying to focus in on the raw data. I think I have all the wrong links on here. I'm just going to go back to my Word document.
And if there's a point that you want to take a break, we can take a 5-minute break too.
Oh, sure.
So,
Yeah. So maybe after we download the data and before we go into jump, we can take a quick
nice.
break. All right, so this is the Open Data Catalog. It's a great place to look for crime data, and there's also a bunch of other data types. Did you investigate what other data is in here?
Yeah, there's some
Building department, jail,
demographic, like
foreclosures.
property. There's all
Yeah,
kinds of data.
there's all sorts of data in here. So if you have questions about what's going on in Denver for things that the city collects statistics on, then this is a great resource for that. And if you go down here, you can actually download the raw data files for this data.
That's
Um,
wicked.
yeah, the shape file are geographic information that they use to make the maps, and we're not going to go over that today. What we're going to be looking at is the crime data in the comma separated value format, and all I have to do to get all of this data is click download, and it downloads it directly to my computer. And let's take a quick break while that is downloading.